Hey guys, with the COVID crisis, we had a lot of time on our hands, so I decided to organize a contest for all of the Twisty Puzzle designers in the community, and 4 of them answered yes. So the concept is very simple. I designed a puzzle called the Dual Hexangle, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, but essentially, I asked them to design their own version without changing the fundamental principle of the puzzle. So let me show you that up close, and then we will get on to the actual amazing designs that they sent me. So this is essentially the Dual Hexangle. I didn't put the cap on for the SLS version yet. Now if you're wondering why I made an SLS version and an FDM version, it's because I have 4 competitors, 2 in each technology. So essentially I'm going to start showing you how the puzzle works with the FDM version. So this is standard color scheme with white, blue, red, green, orange, and yellow. It's got 4 isolated faces. It's kind of like my compound hexagon in the sense that here you have, 6 isolated faces that aren't linked to any of the other ones except by this central turning axis right there. In this case, you've got the top face, which is, the cross face, and on each side you've got a hexagon. So the shape itself is just a mix between 2 hexagonal prisms. One that has a top face here, bottom face here that goes all the way through, and one that's 90 degrees from it. So that's how it works. For the FDM version my version at least, it's not that great in terms of turning. It's very clicky and I have to get it aligned well. But it works, it still works, so it's pretty good. And that's how it looks. Now, just to show you the mechanism, because this is something I will be looking at on the other designs as well. Now, I just made an aesthetic choice. I don't know if you've seen it. You've got straight cuts everywhere except in here. So the thing is, I needed space for the mechanism, so essentially what I did was I created space by having curvy cuts here, but the conical cut right there, the cone from the cut, it actually stops right there, so everything you get after that is a flat cut. Now let me show you the mechanism on the inside. So let's open this up, and so yeah, you're gonna recognize the mechanism quite fast. This is a very simple mechanism, it's just a simple VMech. So let me just pull this out without making a catastrophe out of it. So perfect. So essentially you've got some hexagonal centers that have the VMech right there. I don't know if you can see it. You've got a sort of protrusion right there. So that's the VMech, and it's conical on every single side. And the cone actually goes, as you can see, as I said earlier, it goes all the way outside of the puzzle, which is why you've got some curved cuts at this point and flat cuts after that. So yeah, it's a very simple VMech. These are edges right there, so you can see the mechanism, which is very simple to what you're used to seeing. And so for the corners, it's obviously the same as the VMech on the 3x3s. It's essentially a very small corner stock with the mechanism portion. So yeah, let's reassemble this real quick. Also, I'm going to show you something that I did for the caps, and that is a very cool system because it really clicks into place quite nicely and it really fits snugly in there. And yeah, I had trouble removing the cap because I forgot that I was going to show you the mechanism. I just tightened it a bit too much, and here we go. So here's the cap right there, and I've got these hooks on all 4 sides, and essentially I bend the part to fit it in there. So now it's already clicked in one axis. Then I bend this side, and then you can hear it click, which is pretty cool. I think it's one of my nicer finishing touches for a cap for a puzzle. But yeah, this puzzle turns really great. I mean, this is the SLS version is definitely my favorite of the ones I designed, but then again, SLS is my specialty. Some people are better with FDM, I'm just better with SLS. So yeah, I'm really satisfied with this. So now let's see what the others came up with. Before we begin, I'm just going to show you how I'm grading this. So you will have the competitor and his name so that you can find him on his social networks, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, etc. And then I will grade the aesthetics, the turning quality, the mechanism, the originality, and then there will be a public vote. So that's where you guys come in. I want you to tell me what you think of this design. I want you to tell me what you think of every single one of the designs, and therefore, with that information, I will be able to give a global grade to everyone. And the winner of the FDM contest will get 50 euros, and the winner of the SLS contest will also win 50 euros. So let's begin. So let's begin with the first of these puzzles, and it is from Justin Costa, aka Latvian Cubing. I've put his Instagram link in the description below and maybe some other links. This is essentially a 2x2, or at least what appears to be a 2x2 version of the duo hexangle. So as you can see, compared to mine, it's slightly bigger. It kind of feels good that it's slightly bigger because I felt mine was too small because of these sides right there, these side faces. Also, it does have like a 3x3 turn on that side though, so it's like a 3x3 in terms of layers, but it's also a 2x2 in terms of solving experience. So it's slightly different, and it's quite nice to see that there's a fundamental difference between his and mine, even though he managed to keep the same mechanism. So what I'm going to do now is see the turning quality, now that we've spoken about aesthetics. I'd say in terms of aesthetics, you know, well, just for the grading system, I'm gonna go from 5, which is the average, 5 out of 10, and then go from there. Now, the average of 5 out of 10 would be a puzzle stickered like mine. So essentially, you've got the blue face, and I've stickered both of these in blue, both of these faces, because they're on the blue side. And it still gives you unique pieces because you've got an orange blue blue, an orange blue white, an orange blue yellow, etc. So and well, there is just 2 identical pieces here. It's a very simple way of stickering. I like this one because he really made the effort, Justin really made the effort of going all the way and stickering every single face with a different color. So you've got the green here, purple there, etc. You've got every single face that's stickered. So that's, I'd say it's a 6 out of 10 because it's a very simple sticker scheme, and yet it does show an effort to really make it nice. So yeah, let's go for the turning quality. So in terms of turning, this turns really well, maybe a bit too well in the sense that you can get some excessive turns, like if you try to finger trick and you go too far, but it does spin really well, and I like that. On the top and bottom faces though, I've noticed something because, well, I've opened them before just to get an idea, and yeah, the top and bottom faces are maybe a bit too smooth, in the sense that I can get like, well, U8 turns. Nevertheless, in terms of finger tricking, it's just great. It's just really, really nice. So the only problem is that it locks up quite a lot. Here I'm trying to push, but I can't. So unfortunately, that's a negative, even though in terms of like turning quality, as in like ease to turn the faces, it's definitely up there, probably in the 8 or 9, but those lockups definitely make it go down a bit. And the looseness of the parts also, because basically turning quality was sacrificed for looseness, well, against looseness. So yeah, it's still nice. So I'm gonna go for 7 out of 10 because for an FDM puzzle it spins really well, and I like that. So yeah, it's a 7 out of 10 for the turning quality. Now the mechanism, I'm gonna have to open it up. So let's look at the inside. I first need to find a cap, and if I'm not mistaken, the whole face right there is a cap. The cap is very simple, and yet, if you try to remove it simply like this, you just can't. So that's, to me, a good plus in terms of the structure of the puzzle. So let's disassemble this and see how it looks like from the inside. All right, let's go. All right. I think I'm pretty much done. There you go. So stability. You can remove a whole face and the parts go with it. So that's a really nice feature. Okay, they do want to fall apart on the sides, but that's all right. Anyways, that's not what I'm grading. Whoa. Okay. So that's interesting. That's very interesting, actually. So instead of choosing a regular mechanism like I did, because I chose a V-mech, he chose a multiple core mechanism just to make sure that he had more space to put hooks like this one, for example. So that's extremely original. Actually, seeing it from here, I can see the whole mechanism already because it's just, well, the face is just cut right there. So it's a nice and simple way to design the mechanism, because you've got simple cuts like that without a 3x3 mechanism on this this layer right there, and yet it works because you've got hooks on this side and the sphere from the second core, well, from the offset core right there, that's keeping the part in. So I think that's very original, and it actually works quite well for this puzzle. So that's quite impressive. That's a really good mechanism in my opinion, and using just spherical mechanisms on an FDM printer is actually quite ambitious. As you can see, it's all spheres, and I think that's something to be commended. So for the mechanism, this is actually hard to assemble. Damn it. That's just one negative aspect, I guess. Reassembly, but it's not supposed to be reassembled, I guess, because it's just a final product. So that's not gonna go in the negative for the mechanism. I'd say overall the mechanism is an 8 out of 10 because the offset cores are a really good way to fix, you know, the issue of the mechanism not being really accessible, because here you've got a lot of overhang in mid-turn. So it's a very interesting and very smart way to go around the issue. Whoops. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I've got the original turning quality back. Alright, so I'm just gonna put it back to the state where it was at the beginning. I think this is a really nice design, very simple, very sober. So just a reminder, 6 for aesthetics, 7 for turning quality, 8 for the mechanism, and 6 for the originality, because I think it differed from mine while keeping the same mechanism, but it's not extremely original, so it's a 6 out of 10 for me. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one is from Sam Jiang, aka 5284973. This is something I did not expect when you look at it that way. So this is his logo. This whole puzzle is just so original. This is a void dual hex angle. So he kept the original design that I showed on the design, well, the design feed on Discord essentially, and he kept straight cuts all the way, which is something that was challenging when using a regular mechanism, which means he definitely did not use a regular mechanism. And I mean, it's void, so that is something we already knew. I think it looks incredible. And I mean, look at that. The inside all the way through is stickered, and that is completely insane. That's just a whole other level of effort for the aesthetics. That's just, wow, just incredible. So yeah, here you've got some yellow, here you've got some yellowish and golden colors. Here when you've got pink, also got pink and purple. And with orange, you've got orange and red. So it's a very constant color scheme and very well thought up, because, well, to be honest, this puzzle is not something I would have expected to see stickered on the inside. I think that's just an aesthetic success. Like, it's really incredible in terms of aesthetics. So I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10 because it's extremely original. So now let's go on to the turning quality. The turning quality is actually quite good. It's actually better than quite good. That's quite amazing. Turning quality is great. So let's see for the sides. That's all right. I do feel some resistance to the turns. That's quite good, and that is great as well. So yeah, that's just, wow. Okay, that's some really good quality. It's not finger trickable though, so it's not perfect, but it's pretty good for a puzzle like that. Especially void. A void puzzle should not work that well on the top and bottom faces. Like, this is great. And I really like the aesthetics of the half void, half filled puzzle. So I think the next step is to look inside. In terms of turning quality, I just want to say I would give it Yeah, a good 7 out of, probably even better actually. There's just the issue with the fact that there are no finger tricks. So technically, the other one was, you know, it was a 7 out of 10 turning quality, but you had more lockups. So I'd give this an 8 out of 10 in terms of turning quality. So now let's take a look at the mechanism on the inside. So let's open this up. If I'm not mistaken, I have to open it up using the top section right there. Yep, so this is what it looks like on the inside. Let me just see. So here, there seems to be like screw holes, but no screws. So I'm just gonna look at the other side. It's probably a better side to open it up. Yeah, so I've got screws here. Okay, so let's just try to understand. So let's open this up and see what's inside. Whoa. Okay, the screw seems to be too small. I'm just gonna try to use my other screwdriver. Yep, that's great. Okay, let's open this up. So is there, okay, it seems that it, oh, okay. So it was cut straight, but the reason why I couldn't raise it is because there are magnets. Like, who uses magnets on an FDM puzzle? Like, especially one of this complexity. That's just insane. That's crazy. So, okay, so magnetized, wow, okay. So there is some instability on the face here when disassembled. Again, not taking this into consideration for the grading, but I would like to see what's on the other side, so that'd be great. Because I feel like there's an issue with the magnets. Yeah, some of them got, well, unglued, I guess, probably during the shipping. So I'm just gonna glue that real quick. And in the meantime, we're gonna take a look at the mechanism. So as you can see here, you've got some hooks that go on, well, towards the outside. So that's what's keeping it in. And here you've got also like a sort of groove here. So that's what's keeping the whole mechanism from falling apart, and I think it's a very compact way to place a mechanism. So in my opinion, that's quite original. I think it's quite optimal, to be honest. It's for a void cube, at least for a void puzzle. Sorry, because it's not really a cube at all. It's a very smart way to do things, and I'm trying to understand how these parts here are fixed into place because they seem to be holding on to nothing. So let's just open it up a little bit more. So removing this, removing that. There we go. All right. Feels like these parts turn so well. It's crazy. Wow, this part just turns so damn well. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's latching onto anything, and when you look at it from the inside, this is so cool. Let me see if I can get a better angle. So essentially, you've got everything that turns like that around the core, but it doesn't seem like it's holding onto anything, and it feels like the part is so small and it doesn't have anything to latch onto. I think it's extremely original. Like it's not something I've seen before, so that's a really big plus. And I think so. Essentially, I'm not going to open it up completely. So here it's just cut in half. I don't know if you can see the joint line here. So it's cut in half, and and it's why there are screws here. It's basically two halves that go together and hold a groove that's on this piece, and it has to be this because there's, well, basically no other option. I think it's a really good idea. In terms of mechanics, it's just great. There's probably no better way to make this this void property for this puzzle, and I really like the way that he made the puzzle, well, only partially void. I think it's very original. So in terms of aesthetics, we were at 9 out of 10. Turning quality 8 out of 10. In terms of mechanism, I think this is really interesting. Very stable and very smart, so I am giving it a 10 out of 10 because for a half void puzzle, the mechanism is basically ideal. So yeah, unfortunately, I feel like I've gotten one magnet pop again. I'm not gonna fix that one because it seems to be happening too often. That's a negative, but that's just the glue that's coming off. And I think after, like, you can't just put super glue over super glue. And the thing is, after such a long trip, because it was shipped to me from I don't remember, I think it was the US. It's normal that the glue isn't holding that well. Maybe epoxy should have been used, but it's a bit too complicated, so I'm not going to take that into consideration as well. So the final grade is originality, and honestly, this is a really big plus. So the void concept is just a classic concept, so it would have been like this, so 6 out of 10, but I really like that it was only made partially void. I think that's really a big plus, so I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. This is so a puzzle with a 9 out of 10 aesthetics, 8 out of 10 turning quality, 10 out of 10 mechanism, and 8 out of 10 originality. And there's also the public vote that needs to be given, so please comment what you think this puzzle deserves and the rest of the puzzles as well. And now we can move on to SLS. Okay, so here we are with the first out of 2 SLS puzzles. It's made by DS Puzzles, aka Diogo Souza, aka the guy with the best mustache in the industry. So this is an SLS adaptation that is simply a curvy version of my dual hexangle. So let's take a look at that. In terms of aesthetics, there is something I really like, and that is the stickering. That is just like a stickering that isn't just like face by face stickering. It's a very original stickering, and especially considering that you've got outline stickers and regular stickers. Now, what I really love about the aesthetics is that you've got the intersection of 2 hexagonal prisms, as I said earlier, same as on, well, every single one of those, except Diogo decided to sticker one of the hexagonal prisms using filled stickers and one using outline stickers, and I think that looks amazing. So on one of them, you've got the white face here with blue, pink, dark pink, red, green, orange, and on the other one, you've also got white and yellow with blue, pink, dark pink, red, green, and orange in the other direction, meaning that in the end, you've got 2 symmetrical puzzles. So here you've got the whites, here you've got the yellows, and if you turn it 90 degrees, you've got orange with the outline orange, green with the outline green, and then you flip it over, you've got pink with the outline pink, and dark pink with the outline dark pink, and here you've got blue and red, and on the other side, you've got filled red with outline blue. And I think the aesthetics are just extremely original, so I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10. And yeah, so let's move on to turning quality. Now this is an SLS puzzle, so I know that they can spin really well compared to FDM puzzles. Let's check this out. Okay, definitely incredible. Okay, I was not expecting anything else from Diogo. He's really good at designing very smooth puzzles. I actually own a few puzzles from him because of that. I really like the quality of his designs. He really puts an effort into the quality of the turning, and it shows. So here on the sides, you've also got perfect finger tricking. It's actually just enough to make it so that you turn it 60 degrees at every turn, meaning that you get perfect alignment with the finger tricks. That is just great. And on the top face as well, and you get corner cutting as well. So here I had a small misalignment right there, and I could corner cut it without any difficulty whatsoever. Same here with the larger misalignment, same here with a larger top face misalignment. So turning is just incredible, and honestly, I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10. On my paper I noted like 9 out of 10. I don't even know why. This is just perfect. There's just, everything is just as you want a puzzle to be. Everything is just fine. Everything is just, yeah, you don't even have to ask yourselves any questions. It's just plain pleasurable to play with, so that's great. I am definitely putting a 10 out of 10 in terms of turning quality, and the next step is the mechanism. So let's check this out. It seems that there's a cap on the centerpiece, so let's take it from down there and move it upwards. There we go. So it says subscribe. Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. I didn't even mention that earlier. Okay, you should probably subscribe to this channel right now. And definitely subscribe to his channel, because that is brilliant. Also, I completely forgot to tell you this. This is, how did I forget this? It was packaged in such a funny way. Now, this isn't gonna count in the grades, but look at this. So he said, if you're opening this on camera, hello everyone, I hope this puzzle arrives safely, it's been super fun. I took some creative liberties here and there, hope it shows in the final design. Also, I assume you may want to disassemble the puzzle to take a look inside, so I took the liberty of making a small instruction booklet to help you put it back together. And I mean, this booklet is insanely good. It is some high quality IKEA copy. Look at that. I just have to zoom out there for a second. It's like the perfect IKEA copy. Look at that. Design and quality, DS Puzzles of Portugal, Hexangla, just like you would find on an IKEA booklet. I mean, you can definitely count this in your public vote. This is insane. Like everything is perfectly, like, oh my god, everything is just perfect. It's just so cool. How do you go all the way and design something this good? Well, you know, at least now we get to see a perfect look at the mechanism. So, I like this. It's really funny because as you can see here on the core, there's actually like a whole conical structure to keep the center in place. And I used the exact same one on my version of the dual hexangle. Also, I noticed something that Diogo used that I really like to use as well on my puzzles, and it's this. As you can see, there's some outlines in there, so the powder can be easily removed from the core. And I just noticed I might have made a mistake. I don't actually use it the same way he does. I will have to check on the inside, but essentially what I do is I cut off the stem of the screw hole. That way these outlines make it so that there's a flexibility there, and it actually adds springiness without the need for a spring. So we'll have to see if that's what he used. I love this booklet, it's incredible. And look at that, there's even like, everything is just perfect. Oh, English, white, French, so Français, baguette, and Dutch, Donau, Chiffrage, English, okay, whatever. English, yellow, so he's showing the different colors. French, croissant, and Dutch, Mr. Puzzle. This is so cool. English, use caps as color guide. Français, omelette du fromage. Deutsch, das Auto. Oh, this is so cool. This is just like a whole other level of comedy, of comic relief. So Diogo, you will have to tell me if I can keep this, because I really want to keep the booklet. It's just so perfect. It is. I need this in my life. I need it. I need to read it every night. So thank you so much for the booklet. Let's move on to the mechanism. Sorry guys for this this small segment. I just had to show you this. So let's open this up. I still can't believe you went all the way with it. Like the subscribe and the Hexangla booklet is just, Diogo, you just made my evening. It's just brilliant. I love it. So let's open this up. Okay, I can see that every piece wants to go out at the same time as the center, so I'm assuming this is like some high-end VMech. There we go. So again, same design as I used. There's a lot more hollow here, so there's more, well, powder economy in terms of SLS printing. That's a good thing. And let's see at the inside. I'm not going to be able to show you this, but I do have my lamp on this. I just have to see if, yeah. So the screw holes are connected to the core, so there is no spring feeling to it. There's no springiness. So it's not what I thought. I think this could have been an interesting feature. So especially for an SLS puzzle, I think it really adds to the mechanism to use this. Nevertheless, this is, so it's a very simple VMech. As you can see, corner stalks like this. Let me see if I can get a, yeah, better look at this. So you've got some very sturdy functions in there. And same with the edge, which is the perfect VMech. So this is probably one of the most stable puzzles possible, because the VMech is something intrinsically very, very stable. I think this is a very good design in terms of the mechanism. So unlike the others, I guess it's a bit less original, but it's probably the sturdiest design of all because it's, well, a VMech. And well, I guess it basically sacrificed originality well, Diogo sacrificed originality for the mechanism quality, the turning quality, and the aesthetics. It's just, it all goes with the VMech because you've got those curvy cuts that allow the VMech. So that's, so it's less original, but it's very aesthetic, and it allows to have a very stable mechanism. So it's a bunch of sacrifices for the better good of this puzzle because it turns really great. Just gonna untighten it one little bit. Actually, no, that's quite good. Maybe just a little bit. Okay, and one final thing that I want to show you is just how good it spins using a screwdriver. Yeah, I'm that bored. Okay, so I think this is a pretty good puzzle, a pretty insane quality overall. The mechanism is, I'm gonna put an 8 out of 10 because it's extremely good in terms of strength. It's not incredibly original in terms of the mechanism. So it's an 8 out of 10 because of the sturdiness, but not over that because it's not a very novel mechanism. So overall, aesthetics 9 out of 10, turning quality 10 out of 10, mechanism 8 out of 10, but the originality is what's going to suffer from all this, these good grades in terms of aesthetics, turning quality, and mechanism, and it's going to be a 6 out of 10. So yeah, let's move on to the last SLS puzzle. Okay, let's move on to the last one by Felix Nadan, aka Felix Nadan, who is a French puzzle designer just like I am. So, some context, Felix is the one who actually worked with me into releasing Wit Eden's 2x2 Megaminx a few years ago, even though Wit Eden never paid us. So now let's begin. So there's the Summer at Sea, which is the name he called it for Greg's challenge. This whole packaging is really well made. You've got the puzzle that looks like this. We're going to see it in a few minutes. And there's a warning: avoid putting any parts into your mouth to choke on. Who would do that anyways? And don't disassemble the cube by force. Greg, please don't. Which is kind of funny, I think. Also, there's the Wit Eden logo, and he says, Wit Eden took our 2x2 Megaminx, I took their box design, we're now even, which is lovely. This is just like the great inside joke. And there's also disassembly instructions for the puzzle. So let's open this and check out the aesthetics. Okay. Okay, just one small sticker that's falling off right there. Let's just put that back. Okay, in terms of aesthetics, I'm really impressed with the choice of aesthetics. So you've got 3 colors in the end. You've got, well, 5 colors, but you've got light blue, dark blue. So you've got blue faces, and you've got 3 of those. And you've got yellow faces, and you've also got 3 of those, and the rest here is all gray. So it's a very sober design, very sober, and yet I'm pretty sure every single piece is unique. So let's check it out. Here we've got 2 identical parts there. This one is dark green, light green, so they're just different. Here, 2 identical pieces, but yet they don't have the same color stickers. So in terms of the top face and bottom face, you've got every single piece that is unique. On the sides, you've got these lines, and they're horizontal going through the corners, and here they're vertical going through the edges, which means that you don't have a single piece here that is the same as on this side. I think that's just so original, using only just 5 colors for the whole puzzle and using them in such a sober way and still managing to get only unique parts is incredible. So in terms of aesthetics, I think, well, I'm impressed. And also, something I noticed, compared to all the other ones, which do have those protrusions right there, this one doesn't have any, it just stops right there. So you've got a really cubic feel to it. Now, what I'm surprised with is that here, it seems that the parts don't match. Like, you can't turn it. So I'm gonna have to figure out later on how to turn it, but I really like the aesthetics. You've got everything that's triangle based. You've only got triangles everywhere except those parts here and the centers, but everything is very triangular and spiky, and I think it looks amazing. So definitely in terms of aesthetics, I'd say this, in my opinion, is the best one. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. So let's look at the turning. In terms of the top and bottom faces, it's kind of hard to turn. I feel like it's a bit stiff, and yeah, it does turn well, but it's a bit too stiff for my taste. Definitely impossible to finger trick, but yeah, it still spins quite well because it's an SLS puzzle, but I think it could have been better. I guess it goes with the complexity of the mechanism because I think this mechanism goes inwards, etc. I think it might make it more complex. So I'm not at the mechanism yet, but in terms of turning quality, whoa, okay. Okay, I didn't expect that. So this is actually a flexible puzzle. So it basically uses tension to move the parts away from the puzzle and then back inwards. And that's extremely original. That's crazy. So it's probably not a conventional mechanism either. So, okay, so in terms of turning quality, this is a bit hard to turn, but that flex is really cool. And even though it's slightly hard to grasp when you're turning it, it has to do with that flexibility, so I can't judge it negatively because of that. But overall, the turning quality isn't that great on the top and bottom faces, and here it's a bit hard to grasp, so I'm still gonna put a 6 out of 10. Now, in terms of the mechanism, I have to look inside. Like, this is just so cool. I need to understand how he did that flexibility right there. So let's open this up. So we're talking about popping these hexagonal caps. The stickers have a bit of trouble holding onto the puzzle. Now, this is normal, I guess, with SLS puzzles because the surface has a grainy feel to it. Nevertheless, I think these should have been glued. But then again, did you see how many stickers there are? Like, so much more than there are pieces. So I understand too. So let's open this. Yeah, I so want to see the inside. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay. So we've got screws and springs. Well, obviously, that wasn't a surprise. The springs are fully used because, as you can see, there's like flexibility in the puzzle, and I noticed that he used springs that are way way more compressible than regular springs because you need that flexibility. I think that's a really good implementation, and it does turn quite well. So yeah, it's definitely nice. Also, this center seems to be going out with ease, so it's not a VMech, and yeah, that's definitely not a VMech. I'm surprised to see how he managed to fit such a small mechanism into such a small space. And actually, I'm thinking he may have retracted those faces to make it easier to have a small mechanism. Let's just check out the inside pieces, the inner pieces. Okay, so wow, okay, so the mechanism is very original. As you can see, so there's the 3x3 cut, which is just like a spherical cut, just classic cut. It's what you would find here when turning this face. Let me see if I can move this without screwing everything up. But yeah, it's a very classic spherical cut. And yet, for the side faces, he really managed to minimize the size of the mechanism. As you can see here, if I put another 2 parts to it, you've got one here and one there, he managed to get a really stable mechanism. As you can see, this is like a VMech equivalent because it's the corner that goes into the edge. And then you've got this small cylinder. I don't know if you can see this, but essentially you've got a very small cylinder here that almost cuts the corners out. But that allows him to use a very, very compact mechanism. And I'm assuming that's what allowed him to go so close to the center of the puzzle in terms of those centers here. So I'm just gonna put these back in and explain a little bit better what I mean. It's that essentially on a puzzle like this, whoops, another sticker. There you go. On a puzzle like this, so you've got the whole puzzle here that's like that, and if you make a mechanism that's deep, or at least too deep, for example, if your mechanism is a cylinder that has this diameter, for example, well, your cylinder is going to go inwards and like that, and you're going to have one on each side and they're going to collide. So here, using a very tiny mechanism allowed him to go further because the line that where the different mechanisms collide is 45 degrees right there. So essentially using a very tiny cylinder allowed him to go deeper and therefore make a spring mechanism, because otherwise he could not have done that. And I think that is just brilliant. The mechanism here is, it doesn't seem like much, but when you're a designer, you know that this is like a very, very well thought out mechanism, because otherwise you could not have had this option right there to do these types of turns. And I think thinking about this is already really brilliant. So yeah, this is, in terms of the aesthetics, so I gave it a 10 out of 10. In terms of turning quality, 6 out of 10, but in terms of mechanism, I think this really deserves at least an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. Because it's not very complex, but it's extremely smart. So yeah, I just feel like this mechanism was really good. So yeah, maybe actually I put the two on the same pedestal, I guess. So yeah, a 10 out of 10, definitely a 10 out of 10. I think it's a mechanism that really needs to be thought out properly to be able to be executed. And I really love the fact, well, this counts as the mechanism, you know, the spring feeling, the spring mechanism. I think this one is brilliant. So just because the inner mechanism is simple, the adaptation of this inner mechanism to make something so original, I think is brilliant. So yeah, I'm definitely giving this a 10 after thinking for a bit. So yeah, and in terms of originality, now that's the last grade. So essentially, we're talking about 10 out of 10 aesthetics, 6 out of 10 turning quality, 10 out of 10 mechanism, and in terms of originality, come on, I mean, this is definitely a 10. This is, in my opinion, in terms of originality, the number one of all the puzzles that I've shown. So 10, 6, 10, 10, and I would love to get your vote on this as well as on the other puzzles. So yeah, this is it for the puzzles. For now, so as a reminder, we had Justin Costa's 2x2 version with 6 in aesthetics, 7 turning quality, 8 mechanism, and 6 originality. Then we had Sam Jiang with 9 aesthetics, 8 turning quality, 10 mechanism, and 8 originality. We had Diogo Souza's design with 9 aesthetics, 10 turning quality, 8 mechanism, and 6 originality. And Felix's design with 10 aesthetics, 6 turning quality, 10 mechanism, and 10 originality. So let me know what you think of this ranking, and if you enjoyed this video and you want more challenges in the future, let me know, because I really enjoyed making this, and I'm pretty sure the others also enjoyed making puzzles like that. And I think in my next challenge, if you like the format of this video, I will definitely make a challenge with less constraints, in the sense that it will not have to be the same puzzle as me. So yeah, let's just zoom out for the end and see if I can show all the 6 puzzles at once. So we've got Justin's puzzle, Sam's puzzle right there. We've got Felix's puzzle right here, Diogo's puzzle, and my 2 classic dual hexangles. I'm saying it like it even existed before this video, but yeah, the classic dual hexangles. I've never seen this many different variants of the same 3D printed puzzle. I think that's amazing. Like what this community can do when we come together is just so great. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what grades you want to give these puzzles in the comment section below. Subscribe to every single one of these channels and mine, including that one. Yeah, that's mine. That's me. And yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and yeah, have a nice week.